At Christmas dinner, my parents gifted my sister's family new laptops and a vacation. When my son opened his box, it was empty. Dad said, "Maybe next year if you deserve it." Laughter filled the table while Mom poured wine. I didn't argue. I helped my son with his coat and left. That night, I stopped every transfer and canceled their insurance. By morning, they were calling in panic about a system glitch. "Maybe next year, if you deserve it." Dad's voice landed hard, sharper than the clinking glasses and fake laughter that followed. The dining room glowed with gold lights and expensive wine. My son sat quietly, staring into the shiny red box that was supposed to hold his Christmas gift. It was empty, just tissue paper and disappointment. Mom kept pouring wine as if she didn't hear him. Sienna's kids squealed, their brand new laptops lighting up their faces. Dad raised his glass to toast family success, and everyone laughed like it was a sitcom. My son's eyes met mine, confused, hurt, asking why. I didn't answer. I just reached for his small coat, slipped it over his shoulders, and said softly, "We're done here, bud." No one stopped us. The front door clicked shut behind us, and the cold air bit my face harder than any insult. From inside, I heard Sienna's loud laugh echo through the house, the same laugh she used every time someone else was the punchline. That night I didn't argue. I didn't text. I just opened my laptop and started clicking cancel. Every payment, every transfer, every account with my name attached to theirs, gone. By sunrise, they'd be calling it a system glitch. I'd call it balance. My name's Leo Hart, 27, born quiet, raised quieter. I learned early that silence kept the peace, or at least that's what they told me. I was the fixer, the middle ground kid who made problems disappear. If the car broke down, I paid the bill. If Sienna needed a new camera for her business, I covered it. I did it because I thought that's what family meant. But lately, silence feels heavy, like swallowing glass every day and calling it love. I used to think if I just stayed good, stayed useful, they'd finally see me. But all it did was make me invisible. Now, for the first time, they needed me. And my silence had turned into something they couldn't control. The calls started at dawn. Dad, Mom, then Sienna. I let everyone ring out, because this time the quiet wasn't submission. It was power. The family album, Dad, Martin Hart, 58, loud enough to fill any room. He believed that if he spoke with authority, he was automatically right. Mom, Elaine, 55, soft voice, hard edges. The kind of woman who could guilt you with a single sigh. Sienna, 31, the golden child. Always achieving, always adored. Her mistakes were stress, her lies were pressure. And then there was me, Leo, the family's invisible engine, the one they called dependable, which really meant, "You'll clean this up for us." Every dinner was the same rhythm, Dad boasting, Mom agreeing, Sienna pretending to blush while basking in their praise. Nobody ever asked how I was doing. Why would they? I was the one holding their world together from behind the curtain, until the night I stopped. And suddenly, they noticed the curtain had fallen. Dad's call came first. His voice was already raised before I said hello. "What the hell did you do to our accounts, Leo?" "Nothing," I said evenly. "I just stopped paying for things that weren't mine." "That's childish," he barked. "Family helps family." "Yeah," I said quietly. "I've been doing that my whole life." There was a pause, the kind that exposes truth. Then a slam of the phone. Mom texted a few minutes later. "Please fix whatever you did. It's embarrassing." Sienna's message followed right after. "You're ruining Christmas for Mom and Dad. Just fix it like always." I stared at her words for a long time, my thumb hovering over the reply button. But I didn't type anything, because for once I realized silence could scream louder than any text. That night, I sat by the window, watching the snow fall. It looked peaceful, but every flake reminded me of how long I'd been covering for them. Every one of those quiet white specks felt like a year of being taken for granted. And as they melted, so did the old version of me. 3 days later, Mom showed up at my apartment. Red eyes, wrinkled coat, shaking voice. "Leo, your father's insurance got canceled," she said. "You didn't mean for that, did you?" I leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed. "I meant to stop paying for people who told my son he didn't deserve a gift." She blinked, caught off guard. "You can't punish everyone for one mistake." "One?" I asked. "Mom, it's been years of this." Her lips trembled. "You're breaking this family apart." I gave a small, humorless laugh. "No, Mom, I just stopped holding it together." She looked around my small apartment. Bare walls, simple furniture. "You always were dramatic." I shook my head slowly. "No, I was always quiet. You just preferred me that way." As she turned to leave, she said, "Your father will never forgive this." I watched her go, the hallway light flickering over her shoulder. And under my breath, I said, "Good, 17 years old." Graduation night. Dad stood on a small stage, holding a champagne glass, talking about how proud he was of Sienna. The party was supposed to be for both of us, but when he announced that my college fund would be used to help Sienna start her real estate dream, everyone cheered. I just stood there pretending to smile while my chest burned. Later that night, I sat on the roof, fireworks exploding over town. Mom found me there. "Don't ruin the night," she said softly. "Family comes first." And I wanted to ask her, which family? Because it clearly wasn't mine. That was the first night I learned how silence worked. It didn't heal, it just hid the wound. And over time, they forgot the wound existed. But I never did. Now, standing in my apartment years later, I could still hear her voice. Family comes first. Yeah, they made sure it did. Just not mine. It came out by accident. Dad was furious on the phone. "You think you're clever, Leo? That money wasn't even yours to begin with." Something in his tone made me pause. "What's that supposed to mean?" He stuttered, then muttered something about Sienna's situation. "What situation?" I asked again, sharper this time. Then it hit me. The vacation they gave her last year, the expensive one to Cabo, wasn't a gift. It was a bailout. Her husband had used my transferred funds to cover a business loan he defaulted on. They'd taken my savings, again, and covered it up with smiles, fake gifts, and endless toasts about family success. And now that the system finally stopped feeding them, they were scrambling. I hung up before he could explain further. For the first time in years, I didn't feel small. I felt steady, because now I knew exactly what I'd been paying for. The illusion of love. I invited them all to dinner. Same table, same seats, different host. They walked in tense, eyes darting around like the walls might turn on them. I poured the wine. No one drank. Sienna broke first. "Are you done punishing everyone? You're acting crazy." Dad grumbled. "You made your point, Leo." I nodded. "Not yet." I pulled out a small folder and slid it across the table. Inside, bank records, signed transfers, receipts, screenshots. Mom gasped. Dad's jaw clenched. Sienna's face drained of color. "I gave you all my silence," I said quietly. "Tonight, I give you the truth." Sienna's voice trembled. "You wouldn't ruin your own family." I smiled slightly. "You already did." No yelling, no chaos, just the kind of silence that makes people face themselves. By morning, every account they touched was legally frozen, this time with paperwork behind it. Weeks turned into peace. No calls, no guilt, no family emergencies. The apartment felt lighter. My son laughed more. One night, while doing dishes, I found myself humming, something I hadn't done in years. Then my phone buzzed. A voicemail from Mom. "We didn't realize what we were doing to you. Please, come home." I listened once, then deleted it, because I finally understood. Some people only apologize when the silence costs them something. Home wasn't theirs anymore. It was here. in this small apartment with my son asleep in the next room, safe and unashamed. And for the first time, quiet didn't mean pain. It meant peace. Spring came early. We went to the park one afternoon, just me and my son. He ran ahead laughing in that way kids do when they forget the world can hurt. We stopped by a small Christmas shop, the kind that stays open year-round, and he picked a glass ornament shaped like a heart. "For next Christmas," he said proudly. I nodded. "Yeah, for us." I still think about them sometimes. I wonder if they sit at that same table, blaming each other or pretending everything's fine. Maybe they'll change someday. Maybe not. But healing isn't about waiting for people to be different. It's about choosing not to let them define you anymore. And as the light hit that tiny glass heart in my hand, I whispered, "For the first time, I don't carry their weight anymore." Sometimes walking away is the most loving thing you can do. If you were in my place, would you forgive or would you walk away forever? Tell me in the comments. Your voice matters here. If Leo's story hit your heart, like for courage. Comment your truth. Subscribe for more real stories of strength, silence, and survival. Because sometimes the quietest people carry the loudest pain until the day they finally let it go.